The Homance Chronicles.
The female equivalent of a bromance.
So many poor choices.
But so many good times.
But so many poor choices.
I was trying to save the yawn and I almost didn't make it.
I know, it was my fault.
This is the Homance Chronicles, and I'm Sarah.
And I'm Nicole with the contagious yawns.
Little nap before recording never hurt anybody.
No, I guess not. I'm not exactly like, I don't know, snappy though.
Nah, that's okay. It's teamwork today.
A little napping before recording doesn't exactly put you on your toes.
It doesn't bode well for bright and sparkly attitudes. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. We're here now, and that's what counts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any housekeeping?
I have been, I guess, watching some of your traditional Christmas, rom-com, cheesy Hallmark type stuff. And I talked about finding Mr. Christmas before, and you can get the first season for free on Amazon Prime. And what I've done now is taken it a layer deeper, and I watched the movie that the winner of Finding Mr. Christmas stars in
Oh, Jesus.
as part of his prize. It was called Happy Howl Days because
Oh,
it was like dog based.
oh God.
His acting was terrible.
I'm
The
sure.
premise was fine. Everybody else was all right, you know. But I was like, what universe am I in that I've now?
Hallmark. You're in the Hallmark universe. That's exactly where you're at. Holiday in Handcuffs continues to show up on all of my feeds also. Every time I see it, it takes everything out of me, not to send a picture like, here it is again.
Did you ever watch it?
No,
Oh,
no, because I got sucked into the Mayfair Witches and that because the new season came out. So I started that show early in the summer. And then I kind of fell off because they didn't have the attention span for it. But then saw a new season came out. I'm like, all right, it's worth a watch because it hooked me in the beginning. So I started rewatching it. Man, it's a good show. A lot of crazy things happening. I don't want to do any kind of, well, spoiler alert. If you're interested in watching, just proceed for the next 30 seconds. But because I don't think you'll ever really watch
mm-mm. No.
it. But ultimately, it's about this woman who is a medical professional and she's doing really well in her field. And she starts to realize that she's got like a gift, quote unquote, for diagnosing people. Like she can basically see what their issue is and like diagnose a problem without actually doing anything invasive. And she thinks, oh, this is just a talent, but it turns out it's like a magical power. Because come to find out, she ended up being adopted out of the family when she was a baby. And so now it's a story of like she's coming back to New Orleans, which is where her family, the witches, are from. And there's a bunch of lore around the family, and there's a ton of people in the family all over the city. And for like 500 years, there has been an entity following the women of the family. And it's sort of like a Dracula situation where he comes to them and is in their sleep or when they're wearing a specific necklace that basically ties him to them. And this first season ended with him being able to finally get into, and this all happens in a memory state, but getting into a memory with the mean lady and having sex with her, and then he disappears. Well, it turns out she becomes pregnant with his physical body in season two. And mind you, it's a sexual thing between them too. It's not like it's,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
there's that sexual relationship. So when he has sex with her, and he disappears in season two. It starts with him being born from her and her basically, fulfilling a prophecy. And at one point, this baby is growing super duper fast and he hits his teens and he wants to make out with his mom. It's really
Oh
fucking
my.
weird. It's a weird layer of confusion.
Oh my.
Yeah. And so I mean, the story itself it's pretty good and it's deep and dark, which I like, and it's all, witches and sci-fi shit, but yeah, obsessed at the moment.
Wow. There's
Right.
a movie on Netflix called My Secret Santa,
Hmm.
and I was also a little weirded out by it. A woman dresses up as Santa and she's got prosthetics and everything. It's kind of the Mrs. Doubtfire of Christmas movies.
Huh.
And the main character guy is like falling in love with her, but then also like looking into Santa's eyes longingly, and you're like,
Whoa, that's
weird.
curious. I don't know. I don't want to be like this, but can we just leave genders out of Christmas? Like, can we just, do we have to?
I don't know, but both sentiments. Yours sounds a little bit more intriguing. Mine just sounds a little bit more weird, where I'm like,
Yeah.
mm. I
That's a
don't know
weird
how
kid.
I feel about either of these scenarios, but
No,
watched them anyway.
right, because you're just curious and confused at that point. Like, what is
Yes.
the point here? I feel like when I basically a while ago, I was like, I wish movies kind of were like they were, where they just kind of like tell a strange story that you get to follow, but then when the story's done, the movie's over, you get to leave it. That kind of shit sticks with you. I don't like that.
Well, at work, there's at least three of us who have watched it
Oh
and have
God.
all been weirded out by it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
to each his own. I'm glad that we live in a society that allows for that kind of artistic expression, whatever the point may be. That's all I got.
If we're gonna talk about romance novel or like romance premises, then I have been diving headfirst into a book series.
Oh,
So,
we've dove head first now.
yes, because I'm on book four.
Oh my God.
I think there's
But
seven and seven or eight in total.
wasn't it like a week or 2 weeks ago you were talking about how you just started it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. But you're listening to it, so there's a
I am
difference.
listening to it, so I do other things while it's on usually. Um,
I just imagine you in your car though, like as a passenger bystander, hearing it smut drive by and being like, what?
I, I know when I'm in traffic, I'm like, can they hear this?
I hope they can, because it's hilarious.
Have I talked about this on the pod before or just to you separately? I can't remember, but
Can't
the
remember
book
either.
series is called Alchemy,
Okay.
and Alchemy is the name of a sex club.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like it's got a decent storyline.
Oh man.
That is
I think
funny.
I probably have already mentioned this, but it's worth mentioning again, I suppose, that the author is British and it was a recommendation by someone who was British. And that still wasn't enough for me to put it together that the audio would be British.
You and your Brits.
I, well, so the books are written in a way that it's the female main character for one chapter, then the male main character for another chapter. And I mean, sometimes they'll like go back to back, whatever. But so the female, if there are male characters talking within the chapter and she's doing the audio for it, she just changes her voice a little bit for the different characters within her section.
Hmm.
So it's not a duet. It's not like they're acting it out. It's not like they're going back and forth with each other. It's just full on female and then a full on male version. And the guy's voice is very, very sexy.
Well, all around good for everybody. That's hilarious.
I know. In book four, the girl though is this does the audio is having to do an American accent, and it's killing me a little bit,
Oh dear.
but I'm hanging on.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll make it. I'm sure it'll be okay. You'll make it through
It's
without
just
an
some
issue.
words that really stick out that she doesn't know how to say in an American accent very well.
Well,
But I
that's
give her a
okay.
lot of props for doing it because she's switching between American accents and British accents, but also between sounding like men and women. Like she's
Yeah.
acting out multiple, and I'm like, I give her a lot of credit, but that's not how you say year.
Oh, she's doing her best.
Yeah.
She was probably like, I was not anticipating 7 books. I was not anticipating having to do American accents. This is way out of scope. I
I
imagine there was
know.
a conversation in production where she was like, wait, what?
I know. I know. So, anyway, that's been very enjoyable.
Good.
Yeah. The funny thing is that Audible, around the same time that Spotify came out with their year-end Wrapped, Audible came out with an email to say how many hours you'd listened to this year. And I hadn't really picked up my book listening again until like recently, the last couple months. But I think I did do some book listening earlier in the year. Anyway, prior to me even diving in, I think to this um fourth book, maybe even the third one. Anyway, the email said that I had listened to like 88 hours. And I was like, what? What did I even, what?
I know it's like when you go and look at your social media usage on your phone, you're like, well, motherfuck. Oh.
Yeah, you get that daily report from or that weekly report from Apple
Yeah.
that's like, you've spent extra amount of time on your phone this week.
Hmm.
You're up to 1 billion hours. You're like, God damn it.
I will say though, I am proud of myself. I've cut down my time significantly by moving where the app is on my phone every so often. So it's like not muscle memory, literal, but then also using the profiles for like when I'm at work so I can't see any notifications from social media. Super helped.
Mm. My building doesn't allow for the best service, and I don't bring headphones with me. So while I'm actually in the office for work, I don't do that much
Yeah.
on my phone because it won't load slash I can't hear it.
Yeah. No, I have to use Wi-Fi at work because I don't get service in my office where I sit in the basement. So I have access to it all, but I don't need it. I don't use it at work. Yeah, that's been nice. Anyway, so,
So, who's our Hoe of History for today?
well, I found a lady that I didn't, and I guess I didn't really even know what was going on because we did remember the the wax figures and the
Madame Tussaud.
culmination, yeah, the culmination of Madame Tussauds and how her essentially industry came to be. And this is definitely something that's adjacent, but this is like the prosthetics of the world. And so I thought, like, I didn't know originally, and I just cold picked somebody this time around. So this is a pretty cool story of how like actual prosthetics came to be a thing.
Mm,
So we're going to talk about Anna Coleman Watts, who eventually became Anna Coleman Ladd. So
okay.
June 6, 1878, she's born in Philadelphia. And at that stage, her parents, like, there wasn't a whole lot about her early life or how she was brought up. Um, however, she was like in an environment of artistic, like heavy artistic influence. And so at some point, um, she didn't necessarily like pursue artistic anything when she was younger. But once she graduated and decided she wanted to pursue like sculpture is what she mainly went towards. I don't know if she made the decision to move to Europe and then decided sculpture or what, but she went to Europe from Pennsylvania and stayed there for like 25 years, basically culminating her fine arts, you know, knowledge, craft, and sculpture. So in that time
However,
frame,
this is the first time I've ever thought of this, but like every time that we do a Hoe of History in a certain era, they always end up going to Europe.
mhm.
I mean, we have a running joke that they've made it to Paris at some point.
Oh, she's in Paris. Yeah.
Yeah, and people had to immigrate from Europe to America. And
Hmm.
so all these women keep going back over to Europe. And so I'm just like, I'm over here wondering like the opinions of the others in Europe who were like, you got out.
Right. Your family left for a reason, and now you're
You guys
back.
made it to America.
Why are
Stop
you
coming
reverse?
back.
Yeah, you're reverse immigrating. Go away.
Right. It's never really occurred to me before,
Yeah. Yep,
but
here we are
that's
though.
funny.
It is, it is pretty funny. So June 26, 1905, she marries Dr. Maynard Ladd at Salisbury Cathedral in England. So they had met, of course, through whatever there's not a lot of information as to how they met, how they struck it, what the relationship was like, but they ended up um migrating back over to Boston. And that's where they ended up settling in for a little bit of time. They had two daughters, and he was a faculty member at Harvard Medical School, specializing in pediatric disease, while she ended up being a stay-at-home mom and focused on her sculpture career. So she was no slouch in the fine arts category. Like she was holding her own in sculpture and ended up uh, um not only being successful in like the physical arts, but language arts as well, because she did write and publish 2 to 3 books at that time. The first one she published anonymously called The Joyous History of Hieronymus the Anonymous. And then another work of art called The Candid Adventure. That one tells the story of a painter who could not see past superficial beauty. The other protagonist feels as if she does not, and cannot understand the struggles of less fortunate than her. Unintentionally, this book actually foreshadowed her literal life moving forward into the wartime experience that she had. She also wrote and 2 plays that were never produced, but one again incorporated a story of a female sculptor that went to war. So it was almost like she created her own future a little bit in a way. She was definitely famous, and there were works that she had created that were celebrated, including the bust of Ethel Barrymore and a couple of others. Um, from like 1907 to 1915, she was the sole sculptor featured in multiple exhibitions, including the Gorham Gallery in New York, which is from 1913, the Cochrane Gallery in DC, and the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. Outside of these solo exhibitions, her works were featured at Salon des Beaux-Arts and the Art Institute of Chicago, as well as the Boston Museum of Fine Arts and the National Academy of Design and National Sculpture Society. So, like I said, she was no slouch to being very good at what she was doing within the fine arts realm. She still has a piece that is in the Bostic Public Garden in a fountain called the Triton Babies. And she was also a founding member of the Guild of Boston Arts and exhibited in both the opening show as well as the traveling exhibition. She also later held a one-woman show at Guild's Gallery as she completed other works for mythological characters, and the pieces that she created are now finally coming like up, bubbling up from wherever they were for auction. So like we don't know everything she created because people a lot of the times just did a private purchase. And she has earned several honors along the way just from her like solo art career outside of this adventure I'm getting ready to tell you about. So there's a lady called Isabella Stewart Gardner who I think we may have mentioned in previous conversations, but she was kind of like one of the home bases in Boston. If you remember the story about, I don't think it was Heidelberg, but a lady that I had done a episode on previously where she was gathering art pieces and sending them to the States. I believe this is the lady that she would send them to. So she was a collector of rare, fine art, regardless of the medium. And she actually was also good friends with Anna, where they had correspondence. And it did show at one point that she made the decision to put her fine arts career on hold to do the right thing, but missed the fine arts and the feeling of being successful within that arena. So, Isabella also supported the war by paying for ambulances services for soldiers who were hurt. And then eventually she started her museum, which we it exists today, and we can go there and do whatever, see whatever. So she wasn't in any way, shape, or form hurting in the fine arts industry. She was, even though a female, she was being recognized and celebrated for her work. But then 1916 through 17, her husband gets appointed to direct the Children's Bureau of the American Red Cross in Toulouse. So she stayed in Boston for a minute, and then she realized that, like, hey, I could put these talents I've got to good use on the war front because she was searching for ways to kind of like help and learned about a British sculptor in her own circle called Francis de Derwent Wood. And he was in the process of developing cosmetic masks for soldiers with the super horrific facial wounds that were coming up at a place called the Tin Noses Shop out of London. So World War One really heightened or like brought new war technology into play, which includes guns and other things, trajectories that were able to be aimed better with more efficiency, which meant on the flip side of that, all the soldiers in war, they were seeing a huge uptick in facial disfigurement or disfigurement
Mm,
in general because of the ability to use these weapons with more proficiency.
right.
So she ended up connecting with Francis and corresponded with him to kind of get like an understanding of what was going on. But then eventually she decided that she wanted to apply her talents to the same urgent need. So in late 1917, she actually gained special permission from General John J. Pershing to work in the war damaged Paris, France area, which was super rare at the time because they did not permit, it was against the law to permit spouses to serve near war front times or front lines at the same time. So if one parent dies, the other parent's there to
Hmm.
catch. They did
Yeah.
not allow it. So they did actually allow her, which she wasn't on the front lines, but she was definitely in the war territory at the time. So after she gained special permission in late 1917, January of 1918, she founded the American Red Cross Studio for Portrait Masks in Paris, in the dead center of Paris. And this was specific for soldiers who were disfigured in the war. So she was a very concise operation. She was working with people who were damaged by, wartime trajectories or whatever. And so curious thing about this, at the time, society viewed scars as trophies. They didn't necessarily always want to cover them up. However, there was a syndrome called Medusa syndrome happening where these men would go into public with their disfigurement and people would just stop dead in their tracks, like they turned into stone statues to gawk. So there's a level of
Mm,
like lack of comfort there that they were trying to figure out like where's a balance between feeling comfortable in my own skin and being respected, but also being respected as a war hero. So
well, I mean, and you can think of it like if you've got like a Joker smile and you've got like a big line on your
yeah,
face, like that's a scar. and people can see it probably close up, but maybe not
Yeah,
from that far away.
right,
However, if you're missing part of your chin or
right.
have something more similar to like a cleft lip due to, but not due to birth defect, but due to disfigurement, that's much easier to see from further away and a bit more harrowing because you can usually see like into somebody's skull.
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh.
like, let me tell you the pictures that came up. These poor people, like, she made incredible masks for these people to wear for what she had, access to in that time frame, which I get to go through that process in a second here. But like, she would take men who no longer had lips, their teeth and their mouths were open and exposed to the elements.
Right.
She created masks that had like in the times the mustache with the curl on it with real actual hair. Like, she
Wow.
did the Lord's work, basically. So originally she was permissioned to create masks for soldiers just within the Paris proper. Then she was permitted to make them for soldiers throughout France and eventually the world, which was kind of cool. And the folks that were uh, the the soldiers that became disfigured were collectively known as the Gules Cassis, which I am so butchering that. Gueulescassees. So they had a name, which was sad. Um, so there's a couple quotes along the way. This one is from the San Francisco Chronicle from 1918. She says, begins with the surgeon has not, or our work begins with the surgeon when the surgeon has not finished. A mask that did not look like an individual as he was known to his relatives would be almost as bad as the disfigurement himself. So she basically became this moniker for being a real artist, but also a medical innovator that was doing something to protect the dignity for those people. So, like, all three of those things had never come to a point really until she joined the conversation. So, the studio's output was absolutely painstaking. Each mask took around a month to create. So she and her studio utilized the artistic talents to create realistic facial reconstruction masks for soldiers. They would take a cast of the entire face. From there, they would produce a mask of a thin sheet of galvanized copper. She would then painstakingly paint the metal with the likenesses of the soldiers with hard enamel that had flesh-colored tones. She would paint the masks while the soldiers were wearing it, and she would use real hair to create the eyebrows, eyelashes, and mustaches as needed. Each mask would take roughly a month to produce, and the masks often were held on as like spectacles. So they would create basically these masks out of glasses, and so they would tuck in behind the wearer's ears. By the end of 1918, her team had produced over 100 masks, and by 1919, she and her assistants crafted around 185 custom masks for men whose facial trauma had consigned them to isolation and social shame. Her work is now officially called anaplastology, which is the art, craft, and science of restoring absent or malformed anatomy artificially. So before her, that didn't exist.
Wow.
So a couple of quotes from around town.
It's got to be so hard to get skin tones correct.
Right. With enamel that dries different than what it looks like wet. Like,
Yeah.
as an artist, the struggle. So somebody said, it's a testimonial from a French disfigured soldier, report for the Department of General Relief from August of 1919. Thanks to you, I was able to go out without attracting stares. You gave me back the face my mother remembers. Um, she not just created the social engagement or re-engagement for these people, she allowed these men to return back to their families, jobs, even romantic relationships without being treated as a spectacle themselves. Like she helped them re-enter their own lives or society. Um, Another paraphrased quote, we always tried to keep the place cheerful and frequently had the boys sitting around playing games. We laughed with them and helped them forget. So she wasn't just creating that environment of, oh, we're going to help you by giving you this prosthetic. She gave them that soul, that spiritual uplift while they were doing it. So it was like a well-rounded experience of I'm getting something physically to help me, but also getting that emotional and spiritual support to re-enter the world as this new version of myself. Heavy.
Right. Well, I was going to say powerful, but
Powerful works. Heavy is also, I mean, not bad in a heavy, but yes, like again, leave it to a
giving them
woman.
their humanity back, you
Yeah,
know?
leave it, to a woman to have that bedside manner those people need to take on like putting something on your face and walking around. If you're not committed to it or if you don't feel comfortable and confident in it, it's never going to work. So she did that extra thing that these guys needed, in my opinion, to feel the confidence they needed to actually be that person with the mask on and off, regardless. And it was really just like, hey, this isn't for me to feel better. This is for other people to feel better. I'm great. Like
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, that's what she was doing. Okay. So between 1919 and 20, as the war basically wound down, the funding that she received for the Red Cross studio went completely away, totally evaporated, and she ended up returning to the US to resume her formal fine arts sculptural practice. Within that, though, she received prestigious honors for her service, including the Chevalier of the French Legion d'Honneur, which is, I don't know, but it was right around the 1930s. The Serbian Order of Saint Sava for humanitarian contributions. She actually also devoted herself after the fact to creating things that were more eye-opening versus just, um, let's see, art for the sake of art to a less personal agenda and um, more of a like eye-opening for society. So she also depicted a decayed corpse on a barbed wire fence for a war memorial commissioned by the Manchester by the Sea American Legion. So she wasn't, yeah.
Wow.
So she definitely went hard.
She
And I
was
can
like, you
imagine.
guys have no idea what this really looks like. You want
Yeah,
to feel all the feels? Here's a guy stuck on a fence.
exactly. Let's see. And then in 1936, she retired with her husband to Santa Barbara, California. She was a fiercely private person. She ended up passing away on June 3rd of 1939 in Santa Barbara at the age of 60.
Oh,
And she had
wow.
complications. I think it was heart complications.
Hmm.
So a couple of things um, that I didn't get to cover in the above mask conversation was that like they also had slightly open mouths so the wearers could speak or eat through them, which is an early ergonomic insight that not a lot of people would have been able to capture. So she not only was creating this visual for the emotional comfort or whatever, she created like a functional piece for people
Mm-hmm.
to use too. So
Yeah.
it
So it
wasn't as
wasn't
if they had
so
to take it
Phantom of the
off.
Opera.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it was like incredibly well-rounded, her thought process, and the fact that, she didn't just provide, she went above and beyond, right? With the environment she created, with the functionality that she created. She impacted a lot of lives, not just the people that she made masks for, but the people who were with those people and the family or whatever else. Like, I hate to be like this, but she not only restored that single person's comfortability with society, but ripple effect the people that they belong to, their
Mm,
comfortability with society as
hmm.
well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got to be tough for kids.
Right.
If you got a parent that's going through something that significant, and then it's not just that the gawkers are staring at that particular person in whole, they're staring at everybody, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, the poor kids probably don't feel good about it either.
No. So make sure I get these sources in here today. Smithsonian Institute, readhall.globalcenters.columbia.edu, Wikipedia, Daily Art Magazine, Pieces of History. I think that, yeah, that pretty much covers it.
My cousin went to Michigan Tech to learn about the like bioengineering of prosthetics.
Hmm. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's a I mean, because it's an art and a science.
Oh yeah, it's art first. It's a craft. Like I don't look at it as just art. It is a craft. There's a difference.
I mean, the amazing thing is how far people have come with having um and like very functional replacements for amputees. I mean, it's pretty wild. Like if you see some of the recent inventions, there's a an actress, her name is Ruth, and she's British. She's on the UK Celebrity Traders,
Oh
and
boy.
she is missing on one of her legs from the knee down. And so she's wearing a prosthetic like the whole time. And well, I shouldn't say I don't know if it's counted as a prosthetic or not because she's showing like the metal bar. Like she's not showing um like a fake leg, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Still technically a
molded and yeah,
prosthetic
still technically a prosthetic, but it's not crafted and molded to look like a
and
shin and a
anatomically
calf and
correct.
everything,
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, if you weren't paying attention, if you didn't know, you like it wouldn't stand out to you. She
Hmm.
was still participating in like all the same challenges and all that stuff. And obviously they have a whole separate Olympics for that
Right.
and everybody's just gets on with their life. And it's wild to me that that is an option.
Right.
How far we've come.
So far. We've come so far. It's not a detriment to most from what I've seen in my viewings of the internet. I can't say.
Right. I don't know enough firsthand experience to know how hard it is to live with it.
Hmm.
I'm sure that it's extremely painful and sore and
Oh yeah, not
all those other things,
yeah,
but these types of inventions give people their lives back,
they really do. They really, really do. And who knew it came from a fine arts person who just wanted to do something good by others.
right?
Love it.
The funny thing is that so I had the UK Celebrity Traders on in the background over the weekend.
Mhm.
And one part that stood out was there was this one challenge, like it was super tense. They were all in this room together, like waiting to like find out what was going to happen or whatever. And the actress Ruth, she was like, "Oh my gosh, that was more tense than when I was getting rolled in for surgery to cut my leg off."
The world needs more people with that kind of levity. That's hilarious. Hilarious.
Oh, there was another part too where they were all in a room together and it was getting closer to the end. And an actress named Celia, she's like 71, you would recognize her. She's been in a lot of things. She's an icon. Anyway, the host was like in the process of trying to give the rules or, talk about what they had to do. And but it was real quiet and it was real tense. She farted. And the host goes, what's happened? And she was like, I farted. I'm sorry, it's my nerves.
And I'm over here, can't even squeak out a fart by my partner because my body's like, you can't do that in front of him.
I
That's not allowed.
know. I know.
It's
She's on
national television.
television with, well, global television with a bunch of other very well-known celebrities.
Shitting your pants.
And she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, but I always own up to it. It's the nerves.
I can't imagine. How embarrassing. That is detrimental to my psyche. Just the
I know.
concept.
Where I felt bad for her was that Alan Carr, who is a comedian, kept referencing it like later on in the episode
Well,
or,
yeah,
you
because
know,
comedy. Hello.
I know, but it just, I died for her a little bit every time he brought it up.
Yeah, well, she owns it. I feel I don't know. For me personally, if she's somebody who is able to shit her pants on national global television like that, she's fine.
She didn't shit her pants. She just let out a
Well,
little a toot.
fart and shitting your pants is the same thing for me. You shit in your pants.
They are drastically different for me.
Yes, I know. You take it more literal.
Oh, goodness. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, thank you for sharing her story. What was her full name again?
Anna Coleman Ladd. Tell your cuz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate knowing about her and her contributions because who knows how many people she affected literally like one on one.
Yeah. No, I between I mean
You said 100 masks
185
like the first year, you know, but it's just,
185 for sure positive
yeah,
impacts, but like I said, ripple effects, you can't really
right.
create a formula for that.
No, wow.
Yeah. Huge impact on society. Huge. Huge.
Huge. All right. Well, does that mean that it's Atta Girl time?
I believe so.
All right. Atta Girls are where we pat ourselves on the back for something good that's happened to us or something good that we've done. Um, I do have an Atta Girl
Let it go.
that I
Let
can
it
go with
rip.
first. So on Saturday morning, I woke up to a roof leak in my
What?
sunroom. Yep.
No.
Yep. So my sunroom has a flat roof
Mm.
and it's got a membrane style rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
Not like shingles or metal or anything like that. And we had an extremely heavy wet snow
Mm-hmm.
that happened. And I'm pretty sure due to the weight of said snow, it the little bit that had melted like under the ice had
Mm-hmm.
found its way through a seam in the membrane to
Into
drip
the
down from
house.
my ceiling and onto my floor.
At
And
least it's on your floor and not somewhere important.
yeah, it was like right in the middle of the room too, which made me think like it was bowing or what,
Yeah.
just way too much weight up there. So my Atta Girl is actually just that I'm grateful that I have family members and people I can call who will help me in these types of times.
Yeah.
Because if I would have called some sort of emergency roofing situation, it would have cost me so much money and they would have just done the same thing, which is take the snow off the
Right.
roof. And then I mean, they would have maybe done it faster and been able to like find the crack and patch it. Like we still have phase two of trying to find the actual um opening of where the water is getting in and patching it.
Hmm.
Um, but I was able to um call my brother who was like ready to change his whole day. Thankfully, he didn't have to because my mom and her boyfriend were able to come out and my mom's boyfriend basically got up there and handled
Oh,
business,
good.
but in like 12 degrees and
Yeah.
I mean, it was not
Wasn't
fun
pleasant out.
times. And by the time they got out, it was like 2-ish, and so it gets dark by 5. It's not a lot of time to
Mm-hmm.
work. That's why I said we didn't make it through the whole process. Um, but I highly doubt that I'm the only person dealing with roof leaks due to the
No, you're
inclement
not.
weather that we
No, you're
had.
not.
So again, if I would have called like an emergency roof mediation company or something like that, who knows if they even would have came out the same day.
Probably not.
They might not even have been able to.
No.
And so the fact that I have healthy enough people in my family and that are willing enough to withstand the 12-degree weather to try to get it so that I didn't have a complete bust through my ceiling.
Right. We don't need that. Nobody needs that. I'm just glad you were able to get the shit off the roof first.
Yeah.
What a pain. Don't own a phone. Don't own a home. We're not,
Yeah.
it's not cute.
No, no, it's not cute.
I'm not enjoying
Especially
it.
since I had paid to have that ceiling painted not long
Ah,
ago.
ah,
And now I'll have to patch it and paint it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fun. But
But
at least you have a plan out. There's that. I had a
yeah, I
girl.
mean, thankfully, like he is not completely unfamiliar with roofing situations and feels like it is patchable.
Good.
I immediately went to the like, oh, I'm gonna have to get a whole new
Yeah. And at
uh
that point, put a bit pitch on it. Yep.
yeah, get a better pitch so it goes off of the roof and
Yeah.
like I bought a tarp that's the same size as the roof, thinking I'm gonna have to tarp the whole thing, you
Ah,
know.
geez. Well, at least you're prepared. You have the tarp if you need it.
Yeah.
Well,
But there was so much ice that if we would have put the tarp down, it wouldn't have done anything
no.
because when the ice eventually does get to melt, which hopefully it will this week with the sun coming out, fingers crossed.
Thursday. So Thursday, it's about to be 47 degrees out.
Well, no, Thursday it's gonna rain and I don't need that. But
But I'm telling you,
the sun's supposed to be out tomorrow and Wednesday.
right. But Thursday, it's going to rain. And then Friday, it's going to freeze again.
I
That's,
know.
that was my point. So,
Yes, yes. I know. So the plan is for my mom's boyfriend to get back out here, I think on Wednesday. The unfortunate part is that he would have to do it after work. So I was like, you're gonna have to bring a light that'll light up the whole neighborhood
yeah.
to
Yeah. Hang it
see.
out. That's all right. You got to do what you got to do, man. Make it work.
Yeah.
Well, add a girl. You're resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you found the silver lining in it all. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Because it's not something you can ignore.
No. No, not at all.
Not something you want to either.
Well, yeah, you don't want water getting trapped between your actual roof and your drywall.
Nope. No, you do not. Because we all know that leads to more work and damage and money.
Mm-hmm. It felt weird actually like putting holes in my ceiling to let
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
water
feel
come out.
right. Doesn't feel
No,
right. It
no.
feels so wrong. So fucking wrong. Ugh, at a girl. At a girl. So I, mine's a little different. I ended up finally completing one of the many crochet projects I started, and I bought a pattern for, but I made a little couple of updates to it, and I love it. I love the way it turns out. So I finished that up, and then I also pulled the trigger on some yarn that I need to finish up another project that's just been sitting in wait. And I know it's not like, life shattering and changing, but I'm proud of myself for putting effort into it because it's what I wanted to do. And I'm proud of myself for pulling the trigger and just getting the things I need to complete it. So it's not just pending. This most recent one that I just finished up, I used yarn that I've had for 20 years.
Mm,
So that felt good.
yeah, I bet.
But yeah, small, but it's a win and I'm happy.
I mean, if you're upcycling in your own home,
Yeah, for sure.
it always
Totally
feels
am.
good. You're like,
It
see,
does.
I knew I was gonna hang out. I knew one day I would use this.
T-
Two decades
I
later.
and I know this about a lot of the shit I have down here. I'll see if it actually comes to fruition. But yeah, that's my little Atta girl. All I got.
All right. Well, if you liked what you heard today, please rate, review, subscribe. You can request a Hoe of History by emailing us at homancepodcast@gmail.com or on Instagram, homance_chronicles.
Just send us a little DMer. We'll answer
Mhm.
it. All right, well, Homance is out.